take you on a trip down some local cricketing history and a visit to the revamped home club of these two guys.
Hi, I'm Steve Wakefield. I'm the president of the Old Boys Collegians Cricket Club. So we're at the new pavilion. The club's just finished the building of the pavilion yet, so you've got a bit of a preview here. The pavilion is named after Jim Wakefield, my father, who was the Centurion donor. Unfortunately, he passed away a year ago, so he didn't get to see the final product, but we're very proud to call it. After the earthquakes, the club was left with broken club rooms and they had to be demolished. And so we've spent the last 5 years building this new wonderful facility.
Elmwood Park housed two cricket clubs that were established back in 1924. Old Collegians Cricket Club and Old Boys Cricket Club. And they remained here together 2 years, and then Christchurch Boys High School got established on Straven Road, and Old Boys Cricket Club moved to Hagley back in 1926, I think it was. They operated as two separate clubs in two separate locations. We merged both those clubs. Old Collegians, we were our premier depth in women's cricket. Also junior cricket. To this day, we've got about 50 junior teams. Old Boys at the time had a very strong premier side. They were kind of hitting their straps. Jeff Allett, Shane Bond, Stewie Roberts, Lorne Howell. So it was a win. It was a three-way win. A win for both clubs to become one, and then also for Canterbury Cricket to kind of go forth with one less.
Hagley Oval in the pavilion there. And it's been an outstanding asset for the city, so we wanted the new pavilion to be a modest echo of the Hagley Oval Pavilion, so we've used the fabric structure roof design. As you'll see, it's a wonderful new facility and we're very proud of it.
When we merged in 2004, 2005, we were running no point in really doing it. Cricket approached us about purchasing the Old Boys Pavilion, which made sense. It meant that as a building came down on Hagley, the building could be put up. It's nice to have a feeling that we as a club were involved in that development because it was important for the city, it was important for the sport, important for the whole of New Zealand.
So one of the objectives we had with the new pavilion was to honour our former players and honour the history of the two clubs and also the merged club. Our main lounge here, we've called the Shane Bond Lounge because Shane Bond is one of our famous former cricketers and club members. The home team changing room is the Sir Richard Hadley changing room and the visiting change room is the John Wright change room. This is the famous Gabba stump from Vaughan Brown from when he took that one wicket and stopped Richard Hadley from getting his 10th.
Well, when you look at what was here in the 70s and 80s when I was playing for the High School Old Boys Cricket Club, it used to be an old brick building and had a bit of a mezzanine, and so you could look out over the playing arena. But now for Old Boys Collegians to have a new facility at Elmwood Park, state-of-the-art facility, as you say. Look, it's what sports clubs want these days. It encourages more people to want to play, knowing that they're going to have a facility that's going to cater for their needs. Yeah, facility there, and it'll get a lot of use.
Brings the males and females back that played 30, 40, 50 years ago, and it gives them a facility that they can call their own again, but more importantly the club can be proud of, and all that generates interest and involvement. And so if a past player like a Shane Bond or Brendan McCullum or Todd Astell or Wise, all of them, they can be down here. A lot of these junior kids, they probably know the Baz because, he is what he is.
Well, my involvement with OBC was when I moved from Dunedin to Christchurch. So I moved away from Otago, where I'd obviously spent most of my upbringing and spent the early part of my career, moved up to play for Canterbury. And Shane Bond was actually playing for OBC at the time, and him and I were good mates. So I thought, well, I'll go and play alongside Bondy and join a club which had had a lot of previous New Zealand players play for it. He was bowling pretty quick at that stage of his career as well. He sort of, when he was ripping through the Aussies. So it was just a great opportunity to join a club which was rich in history, and I had some pretty cool times there as well. Graham Swan had actually just played for OBC as well before I arrived there, and he's obviously a good character, and you match up the Hadleys and the likes, and there's some pretty cool names that have come through the club.
If they send you an invite, you usually on the puck pads again for them over there. What is it all?
I don't know about that. Look, I'd like to go down and have a beer first and just, survey my options. But it'll be nice to get back and see everyone down there. And I got lots of really fond memories of the few years that I had there, and really great the opportunities that I was presented with in Canterbury.
We think this will be a great asset to the club in the future for recruitment. It's certainly nice to have a facility that we're proud of. We think this will be a big game changer for the club.
The mini-me's are playing out there in front of the mini pavilion to hopefully go and become, the next Kane. That's the plan.
Sounds like a good plan. What a nursery of talent for Canterbury cricket, and wonderful to see it thriving, the two clubs amalgamating, taking some facilities from here at Hagley down the road to Elmwood Park. And for both of you gents, imperative in your own development. What are your memories of it, Hamish, in the time you played there?
Well, it'd be hard to make the all-time 11 for being a fast bowler. Some great talent coming through there. One of my first memories of the club, mate, was when I actually came to one of my first trainings, and Jeff Fowler was standing at the back of the net just by the Hagley Pavilion giving me some advice and down there as well. And for me, that was just massive as an 18-year-old kid turning up, having Shane Bond, Jeff Fowler there, just being able to ask them questions and just playing games alongside them was just amazing.
How important is it, do you think? So we spend so much time now watching the elite level of the game, and this is, to be fair, has become almost New Zealand's home for men's and women's cricket. We're seeing the White Ferns in action, but to remember that the grassroots needs to be strong for the top to flourish.
Yeah, that's a great question, James. I think that, to me, is the most important part of it as well, because I think you can go from club ground to what we see now, where we see the greatest stars in the game playing out here, but then to be able to then take that back and I guess be able to transplant it into the club ground again and show people the pathway of what it takes to have those stars within reach of the club players is something which is so important. So yeah, a really cool time. I remember playing a game with Hamish actually, and Shane Bond too, out here actually in Hagley. It was before it was redeveloped, and gee, we had a good side.
We had a great side, didn't we? Played against Chris Harris, and I think that was the main thing, was just the names they were playing back then, playing club cricket. And that's what I learnt off Bondi, was he used club cricket as a tool to play international cricket.
Yeah.
And I think these days you can take club cricket for granted as being a professional cricketer and tried to have any excuse not to play, whereas guys like Shane to actually play to make.
Probably the number that stood out for me, 50 junior teams playing on a Saturday morning. How good does that sound? And that is right. That's where the next Kane Williamson, the next Hamish Bennett, the next Brendan McCullum will come from. New Zealand will do with all the talent they could do with it this afternoon and into tomorrow. It is a world record chase thereafter. South Africa in control. Evening.